right, so we are back in the building. Once again, we're going to be breaking down the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, known as HR 3684. This is, I guess, technically the end of the year review. But before we bring you our last and final in the news segment, I just want to briefly talk about our documentary called Reparations Now, the documentary. Produced by, yes, Miss Kim Mims, and directed by myself, Humor Glass. Coming soon, 2022. Please support. We greatly appreciate it. Our GoFundMe link is on the screen. So whatever you can contribute, a penny, $1, $5, 500, 1,000, or more, would be greatly appreciated. And let's see what else. If you haven't had a chance, please go onto our YouTube page. We have Blacklisted. We worked really hard on that. Hopefully that will give some good information about Hollywood, and in general, give some general information about Hollywood, how things are ran, as well as Black people, our involvement historically and currently. Hopefully, if we have a chance, we'd actually like to start doing more of these, actually going out to the community and maybe interviewing some talent agents, directors, producers, to give their side of the story. So if you haven't had a chance, please check out Blacklisted. It's more like a presentation than a documentary, maybe a presentation / documentary. So definitely go check that out.
Yeah, it's definitely an overview on the entertainment industry and, the past and the future. We'll be putting together some proposals for the California Reparations Task Force, on what, redress could look like in the entertainment industry. So if you have any ideas on proposals that you'd like to see submitted to the Reparations Task Force around the entertainment industry, drop us a comment.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that. So currently we're on hiatus with the community call-in, but we will be picking that up. Just wanted to throw that out there. But right now we are currently on hiatus. So
Yeah, so swing by ETM Media Group YouTube channel and subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any notifications. We want to keep you informed.
Definitely. All right, so I guess let's get into the end of the year, some into the news. So let's do it.
Okay, so the big news going around right now, and this report comes from the GRIO. Vice President Harris, Treasury announces billions for Black minority businesses at Freedmen's Bank Forum. Black-owned businesses suffered disproportionately during the pandemic, with ownership rates seeing a 41% drop between February and April 2020. Vice President Kamala Harris and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen headlined the annual Freedmen's Bank Forum on Tuesday, announcing $8.7 billion in federal funding for financial institutions serving minority and underserved small business owners. The sizable investment announced by the Office of Vice President and U.S. Treasury Department is part of a $12 billion secured last year by Harris when she was still U.S. Senator, along with Senators Cory Booker, Chuck Schumer, Mark Warner, and U.S. Rep. Maxine Waters, Chairwoman of the House Financial Services Committee.
Yeah, this is really let's just call it what it is, a slap in the face.
So disrespectful. I mean, This is next level disrespect.
Yeah. This isn't Freedmen's Bank wasn't for people of color. Freedmen's
No.
Bank was specifically for people who descend from U.S. chattel slavery.
Right. And they really
You
have no
know,
problem saying that. They say what the bank's original formation was for, the black suffrage. But then they go into POC and minorities. I mean, Asians, I believe, were mentioned, Hispanics. I mean, a lot of these groups already got government funding and carve out, but they also get to benefit from this. I'm not even going to call it Freedmen's Bank. We'll call it Freeload. Freeload.
I like that.
That's what they could call their bank.
Freeload.
Yeah.
Yeah, the freeload. Yeah.
But we are owed a serious debt, and even the bank was plundered for the deposits that were put in there after Reconstruction. Our ancestors never were redeemed for that loss of funding, so that needs to be paid back first before any money goes out to any other group. So I don't know how we're going to make that happen, but there is a petition going around right now on Twitter and other social media. So please sign the Freedmen's Bank petition. Let them know that this is unacceptable.
Exactly. All right, so let's see what else is going on. Okay, so there's been a claim that Biden admin will pay out $450,000 to illegal immigrants is lacking some information. In this article, there's a couple quick points to check out. Under the Trump administration, thousands of families were separated after crossing the United States southern border. Families impacted by the policy filed lawsuits against the government, and settlements are still being negotiated by the Department of Justice. Families impacted by the policy could get up to $450,000 per person, but the number is still up in the air as negotiations continue, according to published reports. So yeah, but you know what? I wanted to mention that we probably should do actually a show. Like, we should probably, I think we should probably do a show on this Freedmen's Bank forum, because it runs pretty deep, and we should definitely do a show. So sorry, family, had to go back, but I just wanted to mention that real quick. We'll probably dive a little bit deeper into this, but yeah, the 450 back to this article, $450,000 to illegal immigrants is very interesting.
Yeah, I think Biden has backtracked on his support of this. It's what do they call it? A lawsuit. So we'll see where it goes, but I don't see them trying to, cut Black Americans and on anybody else's claims, but everybody has to be cut in on our claims. So, I mean, that's just, like I said, next level disrespect.
Yep.
All right. Kim Porter is found guilty of manslaughter in the death of Daunte Wright. In the screen grab from police body camera footage shown in court in the trial of Kim Porter, the Brooklyn Center, Minnesota officer reacts to the April 14th traffic stop in which Daunte Wright was fatally shot. So, it really looked like murder to me. This is the one that claimed she thought she was pulling out her taser, but then goes to shoot him. When she was on the stand standing trial, there was lots of white tears, just like in the Rittenhouse case. But looks like justice still prevailed somewhat. We'll just see what her sentence is for the murder of Daunte Wright. And another interesting thing with this case, I saw a short interview with his parents. He actually was biracial. Looks like his dad was Black and his mom was white or some other ethnicity. But when asked if they forgave Kim Porter for, what she did to her son, they flat out said, no, not at all, which is kind of unusual. We always see, forgive, turn the other cheek, but they're like, no, we don't forgive her. And every time I have to see her, I don't get to see my son no more. So that's one thing that I do see changing in the narrative on, forgiving these race soldiers for murdering people in cold blood.
Yep. Duly noted. So speaking of justice, 3 men charged in Ahmaud Arbery's death convicted of murder. I think we all know about this conviction. Finally, out of the many number of Black people that have been, unfortunately, underrepresented in the court system, that justice was served. So I know we're all familiar, or if you're under a rock, not familiar with this case, but yes, I think most of us are familiar with Ahmaud Arbery's unfortunate demise and death.
Yeah, he was the one that was, chased down and murdered.
Just jogging, minding his own business as an American citizen should do. And yep, there you go.
Travis Scott and Astroworld organizers sued for $750 million. More than 125 people who were caught up in the deadly Astroworld Music Festival crash have sued rapper Travis Scott and other organizers for $750 million. It claims Scott and guest star Drake kept performing despite accounts of lifeless bodies being passed to the crowd in full view of the stage. Scott has said he was not aware of the tragedy until coming off stage. The rapper said he was distraught by the events in Houston, Texas on the 5th of November and promised to provide aid to every affected family. Fellow rapper Drake has said that his heart is broken for the families and friends of those who lost lives and for anyone else who is suffering.
Yeah, shout out to the individuals who have passed, everyone, in that tragic incident. It's unfortunate. Yeah. All right. This guy. Well, I think we all know what happened. Kyle Rittenhouse is acquitted of all charges in the trial over killing 2 in Kenosha. So yeah, I don't know, don't even know what was going on in Wisconsin, but he was acquitted. So you know what else to say about that one?
I mean, what else is there? What else is there to say? He had no business there. He had no business with the gun that he had. It wasn't purchased legally. But that didn't even really come up in the trial, so I mean, it was just a glaring case of white privilege in the courthouse. So,
and wasn't he underage? He was still
he was still a minor at
yeah.
the time, 17. So he really had no business out there in the first place. But it is what it is. They let one slip through, but there were some other occurrences of justice in the last year, so that is encouraging.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the victims can get some justice by going after the parents for negligence during that time. Trying to figure that one out. I don't know if you're a lawyer out there, if you're a legal representative, maybe you can give your 2 cents or your comments if you happen to be listening to this. But yeah, so that's it. I think that's about it in the news. Yeah,
I think so. So we ready to wrap it up and get into our next segment?
All right, that's in the news.
Okay, so where did we last end off? I believe page 11 here of the infrastructure.
So you want to
yes.
start it?
So where we left off, we'll just do a little quick recap of our last discussion. So we'll start at the end of the second part of this slide here. So H, MBDA involvement. The Undersecretary may take actions to ensure that the agency is substantially involved in the activities of centers in carrying out subsection A, including one, providing to each center training relating to the MBDA Business Center program. 2, requiring that the operator and staff of each center attend a conference with the agencies to establish the services and programs that the center will provide in carrying out the requirements before the date on which the center begins providing those services and programs. And 2, training provided under paragraph 1. B, receive necessary guidance relating to carrying out the requirements under the subsection A. And C, work in coordination and collaboration with the Undersecretary to carry out the MBDA Business Center program and other programs of the agency. 3, facilitating connections between centers and federal agencies other than the agency as appropriate. And
all right. Did you want me to take this, or you want?
Yeah, you can go ahead and do this one.
All right. All right. B, other institutions or entities that use federal resources, such as small business development centers, as that term is defined in Section 3T of the Small Business Act. 2, women's business centers described in Section 29 of the Small Business Act. 3, eligible entities, as that term is defined in Section 2411 of the Title 10 United States Code, that provide services under the program carried out under Chapter 142 of the title. And 4, entities participating in the Holdings Manufacturing Extension Partnership Program. All right, family. Yeah, Holdings Manufacturing Extension Partnership Program. Definitely need to check that out. Established under Section 25 of the National Institute of Standards and Technology Act. Monitoring projects carried out by each center and establishing and enforcing administrative and reporting requirements for each center to carry out subsection A. Regulations. The Undersecretary shall issue and publish regulations that establish minimum standards regarding verification of minority business enterprise status for clients of entities operating under the MBDA Business Center program. Section 100115, minimizing disruptions to existing MBDA Business Center program. The Undersecretary shall ensure that each federal assistance award made under the Business Centers program of the agency, as is in effect on the day before the date of enactment of this act, is carried out in a manner that, to the greatest extent practicable, prevents disruption of any activity carried out under that award. Section 100116, publicity. In carrying out the MBDA Business Center program, the Undersecretary shall widely publicize the MBDA Business Center program, including 1, on the website of the agency, 2, via social media outlets, and 3, by sharing information relating to the MBDA Business Center program with community-based organizations, including interpretation groups where necessary, to communicate in the most common languages spoken by the group served by those organizations. Title 2, new initiatives to promote economic resiliency for minority businesses. Section 100201, annual diverse business forum on capital formation. A, responsibility, or I should say Section A, or Point A, responsibility of agency not later than 18 months after the date of enactment of this act and annual thereafter, the Undersecretary shall conduct a government business forum to review the current status of problems and programs related to capital formation by minority business enterprises. All right, you want to take the next one?
It might help to unmute my mic.
Yeah, might help a little bit.
All right. So B, participation in forum planning. The Undersecretary shall invite the heads of other federal agencies, such as the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Secretary of the Treasury, and the chairman of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. Organizations representing state securities commissioners, representatives of leading minority Chamber of Commerce, not less than one certified owner of a minority business enterprise, business organizations, and professional organizations concerned with capital formation to participate in the planning of each forum conducted under subsection A. C. Preparation of statements and reports. 1. Request. The Undersecretary may request that any head of a federal agency, department, or organization, including those described in subsection B, or any other group or individual, prepare a statement or report to be delivered at the forum conducted under subsection A. 2. Cooperation. Any head of the federal agency, department, or organization who receives a request under paragraph 1 shall, to the greatest extent practicable, cooperate with the Undersecretary to fulfill that request. D. Transmittal of proceedings and findings. The Undersecretary shall 1. Prepare a summary of the proceedings of each forum conducted under subsection A, which shall include the findings and recommendations of the forum, and 2. Transmit the summary described in paragraph 1 with respect to each forum conducted under subsection A to A, the participants in the forum, B, Congress, and C, the public through a publicly available website. E, review of findings and recommendations, public statements. 1. In general, a federal agency to which a finding or recommendation described in subsection D1 relates shall A, review that finding or recommendations, and B, promptly after the finding or recommendations is transmitted under subsection D to C, issue a public statement. 1. Assessing the finding or recommendations, and 2. Disclosing the action, if any, the federal agency intends to take with respect to the finding or recommendation. 2. Joint statement permitted. If a finding or recommendation described in subsection D1 relates to more than one federal agency, the applicable federal agencies may, for the purpose of the public statement required under paragraph 1B, issue a joint statement. Okay, let's see, was that EC 100202?
Yeah, I think this section got cut off. Like, I think it's supposed to be SEC.
So that's supposed to be section?
Yeah.
Okay, section 100202. Agency study on alternative financing solutions. A. Purpose. The purpose of this section is to provide information relating to alternative financing solutions to minority business enterprises, as those business enterprises are more likely to struggle. I'm going to assume that's in accessing, particularly at affordable rates, traditional sources of capital. B. Study and report, not later than 1 year after the date of enactment of this act. The Undersecretary shall. Okay.
All right. 1. Conduct a study on opportunities for providing alternative financing solutions to minority business enterprises. And 2. Submit to Congress and publish on the website of the agency a report describing the findings of the study carried out under paragraph 1. Section 100203, educational development relating to management and entrepreneurship. A. Duties. The Undersecretary shall, whenever the Undersecretary determines such action a necessary or appropriate one, promote the education and training of socially or economically disadvantaged individuals in subjects directly relating to business administration and management, to encourage institution of higher education leaders in business and industry and other public sector entities and private sector entities, particularly minority business enterprises. 2. A. Develop programs to offer scholarships and fellowships, apprenticeships, and internships relating to business to socially or economically disadvantaged individuals. And B. Sponsor seminars, conferences, and similar activities relating to business for the benefit of socially or economically disadvantaged individuals. 3. Stimulate and accelerate curriculum design and improvement in support of development of minority business enterprises. And 4. Encourage and assist private institutions and organizations and public sector entities to undertake activities similar to the activities described in paragraphs 1, 2, and 3. B. Perrin J. Mitchell Entrepreneurship Education Grants. It's interesting. Take note. Find out who and what is Perrin J. Mitchell Entrepreneurship Education Grants. For those that are involved in the education industry, definitely need to check that one out. 1. Definition. In the subsection, the term eligible institution means an institution or higher education described in any of paragraphs 1 through 7 of section 37(1)(a) of the Higher Education Act of 1965. 2. Grants. The Undersecretary shall award grants to eligible institutions to develop and implement entrepreneurship curricula. 3. Requirements. An eligible institution to which a grant is awarded under the subsection shall use the grant funds to A. Develop curriculum that includes training in various skill sets needed by contemporary successful entrepreneurships, including and I'll just go down this list. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's just go down this list. Business management and marketing, financial management and accounting, market analysis, competitive analysis, innovation, strategic and succession planning, marketing, general management, technology and technology adoption, leadership and human resources, and implement the curriculum developed under subparagraph A at the eligible institution. A lot of Roman numerals there.
Okay, 4. Implementation timeline. The Undersecretary shall establish and publish a timeline under which the eligible institution to which a grant is awarded under this section shall carry out the requirements under paragraph 3. 5. Reports. Each year, the Undersecretary shall submit to all applicable committees of Congress and as part of the annual budget submission of the President under Section 1105A of Title 31 United States Code, a report evaluating the awarding and use of grants under this subsection during the fiscal year immediately preceding the fiscal year in which the report is submitted, which shall include with respect to the fiscal year covered by the report. A description of each curriculum developed and implemented under the grant awarded under this section. B, the date of which each grant awarded under this section was awarded. And C, the number of eligible entities that were recipients of grants awarded under this section. Title 3, Rural Minority Business Center Program. Section 100301, Definitions. In this title, 1, Appropriate Congressional Committees. The term appropriate congressional committees means A, the Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation of the Senate, and B, the Committee of Financial Services of House of Representatives. Eligible entity. The term eligible entity means A, a minority serving institution, or B, a consortium of institutions of higher education that is led by minority serving institution. 3. MBDA, Rural Business Center. The term MBDA, Rural Business Center, means an MBDA business center that provides technical business assistance to minority business enterprise locally in rural areas. MBDA Rural Business Center Agreement. The term MBDA Rural Business Center Agreement means an MBDA business center agreement that establishes the terms by which the recipient of the federal assistance award that is the subject of the government shall operate an MBDA Rural Business Center. 5. Minority Serving Institution. The term minority serving institution means an institution described in any of paragraphs 1 through 7 of Section 371A of the Higher Education Act of 1965, 20 U.S.C. 1067 QA. 6. Rural area. The term rural area has the meaning given the term in Section 343A of the Consolidated Farm and Rural Development Act, 7 U.S.C. 1991A. 7. Rural minority business enterprise. The term rural minority business enterprise means a minority business enterprise located in a rural area. Yamoya, are you there? Hello?
All right. Well, it would be good if I took myself off mute now. We just muting away.
I'm going to mute while you do your thing.
Oh, this is hilarious. Okay. Yeah, we're just muting away. All right. This is a mutiny. No pun intended. Okay, section 100302, business centers. A, in general, the Undersecretary may establish MBDA rural business centers. B, partnership. 1, in general, with respect to an MBDA rural business center established by the Undersecretary shall establish the MBDA rural business center in partnership with an eligible entity in accordance with paragraph 2. 2. MBDA agreement. A, in general, with respect to each MBDA rural business center established by the Undersecretary shall enter into a cooperative agreement with an eligible entity that provides that 1. The eligible entity shall provide space, facilities, and staffing for the MBDA Rural Business Center. 2. The Undersecretary shall provide funding for and oversight with respect to the MBDA Rural Business Center. And 3. Subject to subparagraph B, the eligible entity shall match 20% of the amount of the funding provided by the Undersecretary under Clause 2, which may be calculated to include the cost of providing the space, facilities, and staffing under Clause 1. B. Lower match requirement. Based on the available resources of an eligible entity, the Undersecretary may enter into a cooperative agreement with the eligible entity that provides that 1. The eligible entity shall match less than 20% of the amount of the funding provided by the Undersecretary under subparagraph A. 2. Or 2. If the Undersecretary makes a determination upon a demonstration by the eligible entity of substantial need, the eligible entity shall not be required to provide any match with respect to the funding provided by the Undersecretary under subparagraph A. To C. Eligible funds. An eligible entity may provide matching funds required under an MBDA Rural Business Center agreement with federal funds received from other federal programs. 3. Term. The initial term of an NBDA Rural Business Center agreement shall be not less than 3 years. Extension. The Undersecretary and the eligible entity may agree to extend the term of an NBDA Rural Business Center agreement with respect to an MBDA Rural Business Center. C. Functions. An MBDA Rural Business Center shall 1. Primarily serve clients that are A. Rural minority business enterprises, or B. Minority business enterprises that are located more than 50 miles from an MBDA business center other than that MBDA Rural Business Center. 2. Focus on issues relating to 1. The adoption of broadband internet access service as defined in Section 8.1b of Title 47 Code of Federal Regulations or any successor regulation. So I think for there, we should probably stop, put a placeholder, and then continue on, but definitely probably should also highlight some of these things that were in this particular section of the infrastructure bill.
Yeah, definitely still need to figure out who this undersecretary is, and then we encourage everybody to look up the MBDA centers in your area. And it sounds like they're establishing some MBDA centers. That's what it sounds like to me, that you can still apply to be an MBDA center. Is that the take you're getting from this?
I mean, I don't know, but if somebody wants to be an MBDA, I highly suggest go to the website at mbda.gov and check it out.
Yeah, look into it. And they also mentioned that some of these chambers are likely candidates to be MBDAs. So the Black Chamber should definitely be trying to get on board with this so that they can, help with the outreach and get this information out to the Black communities and Black business owners, so we can take advantage of some of this funding.
All right. And if you're an advocacy group too, as well, probably should take a look at that as well.
Definitely.
You can be a hub, a support, for the MBDA as well. So I think that's about it. So once again, really like your support. Reparations Now, the documentary. Check out us once again on Blacklisted. And check out Blacklisted on our page. Check it out. Give it a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Need all the support that we can get. Oh, before we go, totally forgot this. This is end of the year wrap up. 5 meetings. Yes, actually streamed on our platform. 5 community task force reparations meetings. Successful. I mean, what do you think, Kim? How do you think it's gone so far?
So far, I think that there's been a lot of information presented, a lot of historical information about California and, its complicity or even culpability in slavery. A lot of information that, I certainly was unaware of. So I definitely think, as far as gathering information, it's doing what needs to be done. They're still, talking about the question of eligibility and specificity, even though that topic hasn't been formally on the agenda. It keeps coming up because we need to get that resolved right away, first and foremost, really, before we can move on to do anything else. But I think they're heading in the right direction. Talking about eligibility, I just hope that they can put that topic to bed soon, because we know who the recipients of this reparations should be.
Yeah, and great point. And to elaborate and extend on what you said, this is, even past enslavement, of our ancestors, we still bear the atrocities and oppression systemically, after Reconstruction. Continues today. And I think that this task force, or at least the task force meetings so far, have done a pretty good job in displaying, some of those atrocities that have happened since then up to present. Looking forward to the next. I think they have 5 more meetings, officially, to go.
Yes, it's 5 down and 5 to go. And just so everybody knows who we're talking about when we say specificity, we're talking about descendants of U.S. chattel slavery as the recipients of any reparations package. So So 5 meetings down, 5 to go. The next one, you want to go over to the California Reparations Task Force official webpage for all information and agendas for the upcoming meeting. I know there's going to be one in January. That one's going to focus on health and all forms of healthcare, including mental health. So that's when you definitely want to tune into.
Yeah, I think they did mention, I think on the last meeting, that they were going to try to eventually hold some public community meetings, correct?
They did. The
Eventually,
first one
yeah.
is supposed to happen in February, so we'll see if that still works out with all this, what's going on with the pandemic. We'll see where we're at in February, but the February meeting is supposed to be in person, and they decided to have that first meeting in San Francisco, California. So, get that on your list. I know that I have my calendar marked for a road trip in February, if that takes place.
Speaking of road trips, so kudos. Shout out to CJEC, ARC, NAASD LA, and our platform, the Mass Media Group. Man, shout out to everybody who came. Much love and respect for participating in these community meetings. Now, just to let everybody know, if you haven't watched or haven't participated in it, go to our page. You can take a look. This is not a task force meeting. These are separate independent meetings that us as advocates set up specifically for the community. So we just wanted to make that distinction. So we have been able to complete 4 community meetings this year in 2021, despite what's currently going on right now in the public. So if you are available, definitely check it out. And if not, just support, just go on, our page. And if you have a chance to, watch these community meetings, please watch. This is about the collective, this is really about the collective. So we did one in June in Sacramento. We did actually 2 in Oakland in September, I think it was. Yeah. And then we did one also in November, and one recently this month in December. All very successful. I believe Dr. Jovan Lewis attended virtually, even though we were there physically in Oakland in September. And then that was one in November. A member, Don Tamaki, came through, which was cool. We really appreciated his presence, his wisdom, especially his take on the Japanese reparations. And in Los Angeles, once again, shout out to NAASD LA and the Freedmen's Bureau of California, who sponsored that event.
Shout out to the fam.
Yep. Special guest. We had a great Q&A session. If you haven't seen any of these, once again, check them out on YouTube. But we have Camila Moore, who's the chairwoman of the task force, and also Dr. Grills, who's a member of the task force, came through.
Yeah, so swing by ETM Media Group, Mbda Mass Media Group on YouTube, like and subscribe and hit that bell so you get all future notifications, because we will, keep bringing you information, educational information, and reparations education.
So on that note, happy 2021 going into 2022. Please be safe. Please, just whatever you do, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your loved ones. We wish you nothing but success. We wish nothing but success for us. Please, whatever you do, Just be positive, because at the end of the day, this is what it's about. It's about community and the uplift for the masses. That's why we call ourselves the Men, the Mass Media Group.
Indeed. So peace, love, and prosperity in 2022 and beyond, family. See you next time.
See ya.